Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now.
Good morning, Bix Weir, roadrunner.com with your morning horn of Z's, your sip of chaga coffee. I really should do this discussion in the morning with a lawn chair on the sidelines, because that's where you got to be. Lawn chair sidelines. The markets are rigged and have been rigged since the 1970s with the invention of computer programs written by Alan Greenspan in the 60s, implemented at the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston and at the Bank of New York and the U.S. Treasury. It's all a game. It's all a con. You've been conned. Surprise, surprise, you've been conned by your government, and these are governments around the world. The West has been in charge of this. Now the East knows, Russia knows, China knows, India knows. A con only works as long as everybody is ignorant. And the entire population, including gold and silver bugs, have been ignorant of the full scope of the manipulation for 50 years. For 50 years. But now people are starting to say, oh my God, the markets are rigged. Which is hysterical to me, because I figured this out back in 2007, who did it, how they're doing it, why they're doing it. I've been screaming about it, and it's crazy. It's crazy that it's taken so long. And a lot of people have been screaming about it. I think the reason is everybody called us conspiracy nuts and blah, 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 the GATA folks. And everybody was conspiracy tinfoil hat. And you had the mouthpieces of the banks, like Jeffrey Christian, running out there telling lies from under his toupee. So I don't know what the hell people were thinking, but now people are waking up. Silver is one of the smallest markets in the world, financial markets in the world. Oh my God. What happens when another billionaire makes a $50 million purchase? How about a billionaire trying to save his business? Like Elon Musk trying to save his businesses. He's going to be out of business without silver. Out of business. He better wake the fuck up. And he knows he's probably the one taking all these big, huge 1,000-ounce bars out of all the inventories. Him and Warren Buffett, I think, are probably two of the smartest people who are doing exactly what they should do. Elon Musk to save his businesses, and Warren Buffett because the same reason he bought back in the 1990s. There's a supply-demand deficit. Inventories are, the premiums on coins are through the freaking roof to a point where it's kind of crazy. Would you really pay 100% premium on a Silver Eagle? People are doing that now. I'd say don't do it. But who knows? Who knows? If the U.S. does follow through with Jim Sinclair, what he said years ago, that the U.S. will go to a gold-silver standard, but all other silver investments will be banned. In a global world, that doesn't really work, United States of America. But, we have crazy governments. So who knows? Maybe, like Cliff High says, the government's going to offer you a hell of a lot of money for your silver, and don't take it. Until we find out what the true fair market value of silver is, don't take it. If they offer you $1,000 an ounce for your silver, don't take it. Don't take it until you find out what the true fair market value is, because I think the true fair market value is going to be much better than the price of gold. Better than 1-to-1. But why? Because there's so much gold. But I want to harp on another thing that just gets in my cross so much. From Mine to Mint, the Royal Canadian Mint announces its first fully segregated single mine gold bullion coin. The Royal Canadian Mint's having no problems printing, making minting as many gold and silver eagles as they need to satisfy demand. Yeah, their premiums are pretty high too, but nothing like the U.S. Mint that can't seem to find how to make a silver eagle. It is shocking. I went to the U.S. Mint website, and they have stopped. It's right here. They have stopped making. This hasn't been updated in about a month. They have stopped making silver eagles. First of all, without an announcement, and they stopped making eagles, I'm questioning the legality of that. But the legality of them not creating silver eagles to meet demand is obvious. They are breaking the law. Ventress Gibson started in June in her role. Look what happened since June. 1.3, which is a tiny amount of silver eagles produced by the mint, to 925 to 850 to 850 to 833,000. Not million, I'm talking thousands of coins. The total production for this year is going to be 25% of capacity of the U.S. Mint. So what is it? What is it? People have been screaming, what is it? What's stopping the U.S. Mint from making Silver Eagles? There was an article by Patrick Heller. I don't know what happened to this. Back in April, who tried to explain how it works, but he got it wrong. Yes, the the U.S. Mint does have to buy physical silver at the lowest price, at fair market value. That's the law for all government. They break it all the time, but the law for all governments is they have to buy at fair market value. And the U.S. Mint does buy their silver bullion at fair market value. So the argument he makes in this article is not true. But what is fair market value when it comes to producing coins? Now, because people were a little confused by his article, saying the U.S. Mint doesn't just buy the silver planchettes from the people who make them. They buy COMEX bars at spot price of silver and take delivery of that. The article he put out is a little confusing. Then they take those bars, they test them, they weigh them, and then they send them to the planchette maker, the blank maker of the coins. And if you don't, just to back up what I'm saying, this is the U.S. Mint, published April 19th. Check this out.
With the American Eagle Gold Bullion Act, the law stipulates that we are to go out and buy gold on the open market. We receive these bars in here when they buy them. We then have to verify that the hallmarks are what they're supposed to be. We have to weigh the bars and assure that these are the weight that is in accordance with the bar list that is sent in to us and what we are purchasing. That is feedstock for the gold bullion program. Once we take those bars and have them set up for shipment to our vendor, they then take them and we'll melt them and alloy them to the finest that we need for the product that we are going to produce.
There you go. Okay, that is settled, I hope. Because people keep emailing me, well, the U.S. can't buy the blanks. They don't buy the blanks. They buy the bars and have them processed into the planchettes, the blanks. And they aren't required. Fair market value is an interesting thing. People are saying, well, people are bidding over the asking price. It doesn't matter. That's the fair market value. If the fair market value of making a silver planchette is $1 million, they are required by law to pay whatever the fair market value is, over $1 million just to make the little disc. So the argument that other vendors are paying exorbitant prices, that is the market. The market doesn't end at the COMEX. The market for planchettes, the production of these things, yes, they're going to pay for them. But because they are required by law to supply coins to meet demand, irregardless of price, as long as they don't make a profit, that's what the law says, and that's what the U.S. Mint has to do. It is clear. I hope everybody's clear, because this article really skewed who people should be mad at. I mean, Patrick Heller is a good guy at Numismatic News, but he completely missed the point that the U.S. Mint is required by law to make Silver Eagles to meet demand. By law. It doesn't talk about price. It doesn't talk about what you pay for it. There is a stipulation in the U.S. General Code that the U.S. government can't pay over the asking price of a fair market value item. That's fine. Whatever the asking price is, fair market value. You can say they're bidding over, but I would argue they're bidding over what? Fair market value is fair market value. If people are going to pay $10 to have blanks made, the U.S. Mint has to pay $10 to have the blanks made, because they are required by law. Now, the U.S. Mint is not a profit center. It's not designed. Well, it might have been designed to be a profit center on all the coins they make, the commemorative coins and all that, because they do make a profit. It's illegal for them to make a profit off minting of Silver Eagles, and that's in the law as well. So they can't charge over just because the demand is strong. I hope this all sinks in. Patrick Heller got it wrong. He was trying to explain why there's shortages, and he says, well, the U.S. can't pay more. Yes, the U.S. can't pay more, but more is fair market value is fair market value, whether it's on the COMEX or on the planchette production, whatever it is, the production costs. Now remember, the U.S. used to produce their own coins, make their own planchettes, and because of and Patrick does a good job describing this, because of the volatility of the amount, they said, well, let's just leave that to other mints. That's fine. That's fine. But the U.S. Mint is required by law to pay fair market value to get the coins to the customers. Now, if the Sunshine Mint and all the mints they work with refuses to sell to the United States at the highest bid, because the United States is required to pay the highest bid, which is the fair market value bid, then that's another deal. And by the way, the U.S. Mint should be telling everybody all this. They should have a weekly update on the problems with Silver Eagles, and they don't. They haven't even announced that they've stopped making bullion. They just stopped and have not added since September any data on the amount of coins made. So if they have stopped production of Silver Eagles, they're required by law to tell us. They should have a daily update on what's going on with the Silver Eagle program. I am going to start a little write-in program to our friend Ventress Gibson, the director of the Mint since June, completely fallen on her ass, by the way. And she sent out a letter saying that they've greatly expanded the Silver Eagle production capabilities. What? Hi, I'm Ventress Gibson. I've greatly expanded the Silver Eagle production capabilities, and yet we're only producing, now they're not producing anything, but the whole year will be like 23% of capability. This is insane. This cannot be allowed to happen. Let's hear a little more of this.
The blanks that come in are pretty much universal blanks. When we get them, we verify them, and we then send them to the lab to make sure that the metal content is what it is. Once she has approved and said that the coin is passed, we can then move into the production process. In the case of the bullion, they're pretty much strike-ready blanks. After they're verified, they're going to go into the press room. They're going to be struck automatically. They're going to be obviously looked at for quality. And once we've done that, they're going to be moved to an auto tubing operation, which is unique to this facility. In this case, what's happening is that we are bringing the coins and docking them with the piece of equipment. The equipment is then taking the coin.
Everything's automated now. There is no excuse. There is no excuse left for Ventress Gibson. It's ridiculous. And if one of the things that Patrick Heller claimed was that there's so many exchange for physicals on the COMEX that they can't get the coins. That's bullshit. I mean, look at the average. On delivery months, even September had almost 7,000. That's 35 million coins. 35 million coins were delivered, and yet the COMEX or the Mint only did 833,000 Silver Eagles when there was 35 million ounces of silver delivered on the COMEX. Now, I would assume the COMEX is one of the bigger players, or the U.S. Mint is one of the bigger players of the COMEX. The problem might be they're going through the criminal banks. The problem might be that the U.S. Mint has a hedge book. Yes, the U.S. Mint has one of the largest hedge books. It used to be run by HSBC. Now they don't tell us who it's run by. You know who a authorized participant was during that really long run of like 7-8 years when JP Morgan was rigging the silver price down and got busted for it, along with a lot of other banks? One of the authorized participants, and the only bank authorized participant, was JP Morgan, taking Silver Eagles. What did they do with those Silver Eagles? Ted Butler thinks they melted them down. That's 100% illegal. You cannot melt down a U.S. Mint $1 coin. That is completely illegal to melt down the currency of the United States of America. You can't melt silver coins. You can't melt anything made by the U.S. Mint. So J.P. Morgan is probably sitting there with 50, 100 million Silver Eagles after all the years of deceit, or they've gone somewhere else. Maybe they were nationalized. I don't know, but J.P. Morgan did book a $1 billion profit for silver market rigging the year that they got fined $980 million for it. There's so much going on behind the scenes, behind the curtain. That Road to Root of This is what we love to expose, so go check that out. A lot of this silver is going to India. India imports. This is kind of crazy. I think it was for August, was over 250 million ounces. That's more than 25% of total mining volumes for the year. And we're just talking about August. Massive amounts of silver going east. Great article here by Michael Mahari at Shift Gold. And it shows the gold flows. These are the gold flows going. So gold and silver. Everything's coming out of the United States, and everything's going to China, India, and Turkey, and Thailand. India is the big one. That's just gold. Silver is massive. I mean, it's shocking. 250. Now let me read this just in case. Okay, no, that's not 1 month. It's for the year. Still very shocking. 8,200 tons, which is about 250 million ounces, which is, I mean, that's just imported to India. Remember, India, what does India do with silver? It's part of dowries. They buy it. They love buying cheap gold and cheap silver, and because the gold-silver ratio is at 90-1, which is the most ridiculous thing probably in the history of mankind. Actually, you have a 99.8% chance of doing better in silver than you have doing in gold at anything over 90%, 90-1 ratio. If you have any gold, I guarantee you at 99.9% chance, I guarantee you you'd do better to swap it into silver in the long run, because 90-1 relationship doesn't last hardly any amount of time. Yeah, JP Morgan can rig the price to 125 to 1, just like they put the price of oil at minus $40. It's all possible in our world of market rigging. So, great stuff still coming from Michael on Twitter, hashtag Silver Squeeze, Mike Say 98. Yeah, the COMEX warehouse is bleeding silver. Ted Butler's been talking about the movement of silver in and out of warehouses for a long time. Ted doesn't believe any of these numbers. It's weird. Ted believes some numbers, but not all numbers type of thing. I don't know where you find the differentiation, but it is what it is. He's probably for sure the number one best analyst. If you haven't written to the CFTC, do it. Watch my video from either yesterday or the day before. Ted's got a big movement. Everybody needs to write their CFTC. All you got to do is copy and paste his article. Go to SilverSeek, Ted Butler, and you will find it. Yeah, we got to call these people. They're not going to do anything about it, but if enough people are on them, then they know they're going to go to jail if the truth comes out that they were covering up, because they can't claim, we didn't know. With thousands of people writing to the CFTC about the manipulation of gold and silver, they can never claim that we didn't know. Just like, they did, 3 investigations into silver manipulation during the time JP Morgan was leading that charge, and they came up with nothing. And then the DOJ had to come in, and it was obvious that they were rigging. So, yeah, it wasn't the COMEX, the CFTC, that busted the silver riggers. It was the Department of Justice when Trump was in charge of that. Basically, he's trying to take down Jamie Dimon, because Jamie Dimon was trying to destroy the economy for the Democrats. This is a big game, my friends. Anyway, yeah, we are well below 40,000 registered ounces. Vault totals don't really matter. It says 308 million ounces. Whether these numbers are right, it doesn't. I have no idea. Vault totals doesn't give you much information at all. It keeps going down, but vault totals means registered for the potential delivery on the COMEX, and eligible means that They just count all the silver that's stored in the warehouse. These aren't even COMEX eligible. But they keep it in the COMEX warehouse, so they call it eligible, truthfully. You don't have to. I mean, a lot of people use it as storage. These big banks don't want to store. It's really cheap storage. Why is it cheap storage? Because they can rehypothecate and all kinds of bullshit. Anyway, so vault totals are at $308 million. I would assume that most of that is pledged to the ETFs. That is 100% legal in the Swiss cheese document that defines SLV. Prospectus. The prospectus. I used to call it the Swiss cheese prospectus because there's so many ways you can rig silver with that prospectus, and that's what they're doing. Even Jeffrey Christian and Jeff Curry from Goldman Sachs, said all the silver in SLV is why there's so many silver shorts. Those ounces have been shorted, and it's like, wait a minute, that is illegal for them. Who has ownership of SLV? It should be the shareholders, and they did not give any permission, as far as I know, for their silver to be hedged and the shorts. But hey, the CFTC is too stupid to follow up on Jeff Curry's announcement that all that silver has been hedged and has a short position. Clearly, if you are buying a share of SLV, you have a desire for the price of silver to go up. And the custodian, being JP Morgan, the biggest silver rigger in the world, has the opposite desire. So why did BlackRock, who owns SLV, allow JP Morgan to do that? And if BlackRock is allowing the hedging of SLV silver, completely illegal, their fiduciary responsibility is already, questionable, having JP Morgan as the custodian, being that they got fined $920 million for rigging silver, gold, and U.S. Treasuries just recently. But hey, that's the world we live in. That's where we're going. All right. U.S. mine production has been falling for a long time, by the way. That has nothing to do with what we have in the ground. That's what I have to say. Nothing to do with what we have in the ground. What we have in the ground is massive, 10 times what the world thinks. So that gold waits for us. I don't think we have much silver at all. Another reason why the gold-silver ratio, right now there's about 6 billion ounces of each above ground. Very soon, it'll be 60 billion ounces of gold and still 6 billion, maybe even 5 billion ounces of silver as silver gets consumed. What's the gold-silver ratio going to do there? It's going to be 1 to 10. Silver's so much more important than gold. That's why it's so important for them to rig it. Anyway, that's where we are on the road to Ruta. You want more info? Click and get on the free subscriber road on the left side of roadtoruta.com. You get behind the scenes info, all that good stuff. And if you subscribe today, I don't know about tomorrow, but today we're giving away a silver Road to Ruta coin, double struck, individually numbered, hand painted heart with a certificate of authenticity. The coolest coin ever. And when the Road to Ruta theory is proven correct, this baby's going to be worth a hell of a lot of money, if you ask me. And that's all I got for you. This is Bix Weir. I'll talk to you later.